Good morning, my dear students. Today we are going to continue with the company accounts, and we are dealing with accounting for shares, right? So in the previous day's video, we have learned how to issue the shares at par and how the entries are being solved. Okay. So today we are going to take up another new sum, right? Where you will be learning about calls in arrear, and we will be learning about the issue and receive of the application. Okay, how the shares are issued and how we receive the application money, allotment money, first call, and then a situation where there will be calls in arrear. Now, what is calls in arrear? All these things I will be discussing in this particular chapter, this particular video. Okay, so let's start. So, what is calls in arrear? Before I get into the question, we'll discuss about calls in arrear. So, what is calls in arrear? See, the word calls in arrear is referring to the amount of money. Okay, it's that amount of money which the company, okay, which the company has made due for the shareholders to pay. Okay, which the company has made due for the shareholders to pay, but okay, shareholders to pay, but the shareholders has not yet paid it. Okay, but the shareholders, but some of the shareholders, not all, okay, but some of the shareholders, okay, some of the shareholders has not paid it. Okay, here this this amount of arrear, okay, the amount of arrear, this amount of arrear will be called calls in arrear. This amount of arrear, that is, what is arrear? The amount of money which is supposed to be paid by the shareholders, okay, but they have not paid it. Okay, so for the company, this amount of arrear will be called, is called calls in arrear. Okay, it's called calls in arrear. Here, I hope all of you have understood that calls in arrear. This is simply that amount of money which the shareholders are supposed to pay, but they have not yet paid it. Okay, they are supposed to pay, but they have not yet paid it, right? So this is called calls in arrear. This is very, very important to understand. Now I'll give you the journal entries. What is the entry on calls in arrear? Entries at the time of calls in arrear. Okay, so what is the entry you're going to pass for the calls in arrear? Let it be anything, whatever money, amount of money. It might be the allotment money, it might be the first call money, it can be the second call money, anything. And there's 100% guarantee that it will not be an application, because if you don't pay an application, there will not be any allotment on you. Okay, so a person, a customer, or you can simply say a shareholder may fail to pay his application money. Okay, sorry, he may fail to pay his allotment money, but he will never fail to pay the application money, because with that only he is coming into the coming into the list of shareholders. Okay, so he will have to pay the application money. That's compulsory, so that nothing to worry on that. The arrear, that is the amount of due which which the shareholder is supposed to pay but has not yet paid, that may occur in case of allotment, in case of first call. Okay, it may arise in case of second and final call, and simultaneously if there are some other calls also, then it suppose third call and third and final call, or fourth and final call, it may arise at that time. Okay, so that might be the situation. Now, what will be the entry in that case? What will be the journal entry you are going to pass when there will be calls in arrear? So simply remember that when there is calls in arrear, okay, when there is calls in arrear, what you have to do is that you have already made the shareholders, you have already made the shareholders debtors, means you have made the amount of money due what you are supposed to receive, right? So now when there is arrear, what will happen? The journal entry will be like this. When we will know that there is a arrear, तब हम लोग को पता चलेगा कि पैसा नहीं रिसीव होगा, कॉल्स इन arrear होगा जब हमें पैसा रिसीव हो रहा है. देखो, if suppose, let's take a very easy example. Okay, suppose in the school there are 20 students in a class. Out of the 20, okay, it has been informed that all the students have to pay the fees of November, right? And out of the 20 students, only say 18 students has paid the fees. 18 students have paid the fees, and remaining 2 has not yet paid. It is due, but they have not yet paid, right? So this two two students who have not yet paid, right? 18 ने दिया है, मतलब 20 में से अगर 18 दे दिया, मतलब 2 remaining. So those two students who have not paid the fees, okay, that amount of fees will be taken as fees in arrear. समझ में आया? Fees in arrear. Clear? So that is, when did we come to know that they are in arrear? When we have received the amount of money. After of obviously a date will be there. Like suppose the last day of payment is 10th of December. Then by 10th, after 10th of December, by 11th of December, we can say that who are the arrear people, right? It's in the same situation, in the same case, that particular situation will be applicable also in case of company. ठीक है? Same case company case में भी apply होता है. Okay, it will be applicable in case of company also. Now let's see how it will be done. So whenever you receive the money, at a time you will be coming to know whether there is arrear or not. Okay, so the entry will be like this: bank account debit to calls in arrear. Okay, calls in arrear. Let it be any arrear. Arrear at the time of allotment, arrear at the time of call. Okay, doesn't matter. It will be, the entry will be like this: bank account debit to calls in bank account debit, calls in arrear account debit. Sorry, there was a mistake here. Bank account debit, calls in arrear account debit to share. Either it can be allotment account if it is in allotment, or first call, or second call, second and final call. It can be any call. Okay, doesn't matter. Clear? It may be any call. So this is a situation. This is the entry you may get. Okay, this is the entry you are going to apply. Right? So remember that. I'm just highlighting it so that you can easily understand. Entries for calls in arrear. What you are going to do? Bank account debit, calls in arrear account debit, because it will be debtor. This is the amount of money unpaid. Okay, unpaid amount. Unpaid amount. Right? जो भी unpaid amount होगा वो आ जाएगा यहाँ पे calls in arrear में. ठीक है? This is the amount received. Okay? जो भी पैसा रिसीव होगा यहाँ पे आ जाएगा amount received. Clear? So bank account debit, calls in arrear account debit to share allotment account or share first call account or second call, if referring to the particular call. If it is allotment, then share allotment account. If it is first call, then to share first call. If it is second call, then it will be to second call. Okay, depending on that. So this is the entry for the situation of calls in arrear. Okay. Okay. Now let's start up the question. So here's the question. I'll just enlarge it a little bit so that you can easily understand and see the question in the video. Okay. So here's the question. Chronic Limited issued 10,000 equity shares of 10 each. How many shares? It is 10,000 equity shares. Okay. Now remember that generally I have taught you is share allotment or share first call like this, right? Share capital like this. But if the word equity is there, then along with the share, you use the word equity also. Like if it is share allotment, then you will be using it. If the equity word is there, then you will be using it to equity share allotment, right? In that way. So what is given here? Chronic Limited issued 10,000 equity shares of 10 each, payable as, okay, it will be payable as the amount will be payable, this amount of 10 rupees. ठीक है? 10 रुपए शेयर का दाम, तो शेयर को कैसे पेबल होगा? Payable as rupees 2.50 on application. Okay, they are going to pay 2.50 on application. ठीक है, जब अप्लाई होगा तभी. रुपीज 3 on allotment, 3 रुपए allotment के टाइम पे. Okay, at the time of allotment. 2 on first call, rupees 2 they are going to pay at the time of first call. Okay, and the balance amount, whatever the balance amount will be there, balance of how much? 2.50 on second and final call, it is told here. Okay, now after that what is told? All the shares were fully subscribed. That means out of 10,000, whole 10,000 was fully subscribed. Okay, and paid एक्सेप्ट ऑफ अ शेयर होल्डर, सबने सब्सक्राइब किया, सबने पेमेंट भी किया, एक्सेप्ट को छोड़कर, एक्सेप्ट ऑफ अ शेयर होल्डर, देयर वाज वन शेयर होल्डर हैविंग 100 शेयर्स, एक शेयर होल्डर था जिसने 100 शेयर्स खरीदे थे, ठीक है, who could not pay who could not pay for second and final call, he did not pay the second and final call money. Okay, there was one shareholder who was having 100 share he could not pay the second and final call, मतलब वो 100 शेयर जो उसके पास था उसके ऊपर उसने 2.5 करके नहीं दे पाया, 2.50 रुपीज, राइट। तो ये जो पैसा नहीं दे पाया उसको बोलते हैं कॉस्ट इन एरियर। Okay, we'll see it later on. Let's start from the beginning. So what we have to see in the beginning is that how many shares we have issued and what is the application money application we have received. So we have issued 10,000 equity shares, and what was the receipt? All the shares were fully subscribed, that is a full subscription, मतलब 10,000 का 10,000 subscription हुआ है, ठीक है। So there is no over subscription, no under subscription, it is a full subscription. So let's start. So first entry for the application will be bank account debit, right? How many shares? बैंक अकाउंट डेबिट विल बी 10,000 शेयर्स एट द रेट एप्लीकेशन मनी कितना था 2.50, राइट। सो 10,000 into 2.50 बैंक अकाउंट डेबिट टू इक्विटी शेयर एप्लीकेशन अकाउंट 10,000 into 2.50 2,50,000. So let's see, here is the entry, bank account debit 25,000 to equity share application account 25,000, right? Yes, it will be 2.5, so it will be 25,000, right? Yes, so it is 25,000. This amount of 25,000 will be 10,000 into, I'll just mention here in the bracket, into 2.50, right? So it is coming 25,000. Yeah. So bank account debit 25,000 to equity share application account 25,000. This is the word you have to use. Instead of only share application, you have to use equity when the word equity is mentioned in the question. Okay. अभी यूज करना है, अगर क्वेश्चन में ये देखो इक्विटी बोल के दे दिया ना, अगर इक्विटी है तो ही यूज करना है, right? Now we have received the application money and we have seen that we have issued 10,000 and we have received 10,000. So कोई problem नहीं है, we can directly go for the transfer. Remember, every transaction, whether it is application, whether it is allotment, or it is first call, second call, कोई भी हो, हर ट्रांजेक्शन का दो एंट्री होगा, ठीक है, दो जर्नल एंट्री होगा। जैसे दो हर सिचुएशन का, जैसे एप्लीकेशन का सिचुएशन हुआ तो उसमें भी दो एंट्री होगा। Once you are going to receive the application, because we don't know who are the shareholders, so first time we have to receive the application, so bank account debit to equity share application account, फिर ट्रांसफर एंट्री, राइट। सो एक बार पता चल गया कौन शेयर होल्डर है, तो नेक्स्ट टाइम से अलॉटमेंट के टाइम से क्या होगा, पहले ड्यू एंट्री फिर रिसीव एंट्री, सेम विद फर्स्ट कॉल, ड्यू एंट्री रिसीव एंट्री, सेम विद सेकंड कॉल, ड्यू एंट्री रिसीव एंट्री, ठीक है, दो एंट्री रिपीट होगा, है ना। सो लेट्स सी व्हाट विल बी द नेक्स्ट सिचुएशन नाउ। एप्लीकेशन के बाद क्या होगा, ट्रांसफर एंट्री। कैसे ट्रांसफर होगा, ट्रांसफर कैसे करेंगे, इक्विटी शेयर एप्लीकेशन है ना, तो बन करके ट्रांसफर करना है। सो इक्विटी शेयर एप्लीकेशन अकाउंट डेबिट टू इक्विटी शेयर कैपिटल अकाउंट, फुल 25,000 will go, right? Because there is no over subscription, there is full subscription. So it will be equity share application account debit 25,000 to equity share capital account 25,000. Clear? I hope all of you have understood this part. I have enlarged it a little bit so that you can easily understand. Okay, this is you have to mention here. I have not told you because these all things are very preliminary, and you have learned all these things in your class 11 classes, so you all are aware of this, how you are going to settle all these things, right? So now let's go to the next one. Once you have made a transfer, equity share application account debit to equity share capital account 25,000, 25,000. Now once it is done, then we can go for the next one. Okay, the entry will be like this, nation. In case of application, when you have received, it will be being application money received, right? Being application money received on, or you can say being money received on application for 10,000 shares at the rate rupees 2.50, right? So this way also you can just say, there's no problem in that, right? Okay. Now coming to the next one, the narration will be, what is the narration? It is a transparent, right? So it will be being transfer of application money on 10,000 shares to share capital, right? Done. दोनों part हो गया, application वाला part हो गया. This was the application part. Now we'll go for allotment. In case of allotment, what is the amount? It is ₹3 on allotment, right? तो अब हम लोग को पता है कि हम लोग के शेयर होल्डर कौन है, ठीक है? तो हम लोग को डेटर बनाएंगे. That means the due entry. So what is the due entry? In the previous day's video we saw the due entry was, in case of allotment, equity share allotment account debit to equity share capital account. How much? 10,000 into 3. 10,000 equity shares at the rate 3. Okay. So 10,000 into 3. क्या होगा? The C equity share allotment account debit 10,000 into 3, that is 30,000. To equity share capital account 10,000 into 3, that is 30,000. What will be the narration? Being amount due on allotment. Okay. Being amount due on allotment of 10,000 shares at the rate ₹3 per share. Okay. Then coming to the next one. What is the okay? Now after that, after the due entry, we have to go for the receive entry. Now we'll just check whether there is any arrear or not. We have already checked in the beginning. Still, we should check once again what is there. All the shares were fully subscribed and paid. सबने payment कर दिया, except of a shareholder. There was a shareholder who was having 100 shares who could not pay second and final call. Problem कहाँ पे है? Second and final call. मतलब allotment में कोई problem नहीं है. सारा पैसा मिल गया है. ठीक है? clear है? एकदम simple. If I say that you have not paid the school fees of December, that means you have paid up to November. Obviously, अगर December नहीं पे किया मतलब अगर मैं, if I am specifying only December, that means you have paid up to November. Obviously, so if it is specifying only the second and final call, that means you have paid the rest of the money, isn't it? That means allotment has been paid. So the entry will be like this: bank account debit 30,000 to equity share allotment account 30,000, right? So it will be like this: bank account debit 30,000 to equity share allotment account 30,000. What is the narration? Being allotment money received. In most of the cases, you're finding that the word being has not been mentioned. Earlier, the accounts book, most of the books were having that. Now, with the time change, they are adapting to the new methods of writing. So it will be better if you write being. Okay, this is a very, very good way of writing. Being allotment money received. Now coming to the next one. After allotment, what do we have? It is the first call. So ₹2 on first call, right? ₹2 on first call. So what is the meaning of that now? ₹2 on first call simply means that we are going to receive ₹2 on the first call. So first we have to make a due entry. So what is the due entry? Equity share first call account debit 10,000 into 2 to equity share capital account 10,000 into 2. So let's see what is there. Bank account debit. Sorry, equity share. It will be equity share. Okay. Equity share first call account debit 10,000 into 20,000 to equity share capital account 10,000 into how much? 20,000. Right. What will be the narration? Being first call money is due, right? Being first call money due on 10,000 shares at the rate ₹2 per share. Clear? Now it's time for receive entry. So we already saw that the problem is in the second and final call. So there's no problem in the first call. So what we can do is that we can simply receive the money. So it will be bank account debit to equity share first call account 10,000 into 20,000. So it will bank account debit to equity share first call account. How much? 10,000 into 2, 20,000. Clear? Now let's go to the next one. That is the final one. 2.50 on the second and final call. So in this case also, first we have to go for the due entry. Then only we can go for the receive entry. So what is the due entry in this case? Due entry will be, as we have done in earlier case, it will be equity share second and final call account debit, because the total the name of the situation is second and final call, right? So it will be equity share second and final call account debit to equity share capital account. How much? 10,000 equity shares as a rate ₹2.50, right? So it will be 25,000. So the entry will be like this: equity share second and final call account debit. Okay, equity share second and final call account debit to equity share capital account. Okay, to equity share capital account. How much? 10,000 into 2, 25,000. Okay, what are you going to write as the narration? Being final call money due. Okay, you can elaborate and write. There is no stipulated way of writing narration. Okay, so as per your convenience, you can write, provided it is giving a information about the situation, right? So now coming to the next one, we have given the due entry, that is equity share allotment. So equity share second and final call account debit to equity share capital account 25,000. That is 10,000 into 2.50. Here now comes the receive entry, and very interestingly, it is a situation where we have seen the problem. It is where is the problem? It is in the second and final call. The problem lies in the second and final call. Here I'm just highlighting it, try to understand. Second and final call is the situation where the problem is there. So in this situation, what you have to do, you have to find out what is the amount of money you have not received. बहुत आसान है, कितना पैसा रिसीव नहीं हुआ वो जान लो. अगर 10,000 रुपए मिलना है, जस्ट फॉर एग्जांपल 10,000 रुपए मिलना है, उसमें से अगर 200 रुपए नहीं मिला तो मिला कितना? 9,800. So that is the simplest way. Okay, very simple way to find out what is the arrear. ठीक है, so what is the arrear? A shareholder having 100 shares, एक shareholder था जिसके पास 100 shares था, could not pay the second and final call. वो दिया ही नहीं वो बंदा. He did not pay the 100. He did not pay the second and final call. So what was the second and final call money? 2.50. And on how many shares? 100. Right. So what will be the amount? It will be 250 rupees. So what is the arrear? Simply we can say that the arrear in this situation is, what is the arrear? 100 shares at the rate rupees 2.50. Right. So it ultimately comes to 250 rupees. Very simple, 250 rupees. So this amount of money, 250, yeah, 2.50, definitely 2.50. So it comes to 250 rupees. This is the arrear. So if you have arrear of 250 rupees, on what is the amount due? What is the amount due? Let's see the second and final call. The second and final call money it is, we saw the 25,000. So out of this 25,000, the amount due is 250 rupees that has not been received. Arrear है अभी तक, ठीक है, ये पैसा रिसीव ही नहीं हुआ, arrear है. तो एंट्री क्या होगा? बैंक अकाउंट डेबिट, जनरल एंट्री जो पहले होता है, सेम लाइक दिस, बैंक अकाउंट डेबिट, कॉल्स इन एरियर अकाउंट डेबिट, अनपेड वाला अमाउंट, टू share first. Here it is not allotment, not first call, it is second call, right? So to second and final call account. ठीक है, तो क्या होगा? बैंक अकाउंट डेबिट, कॉल्स इन एरियर अकाउंट डेबिट टू सेकंड फाइनल कॉल. सो बैंक में होगा कितना पैसा? 25,000 minus this, simply 25,000 minus 250 rupees. That means 24,750. And the call scenario will be, I'll mention here, 100 shares at the rate 2.50. So it is coming 250 rupees. The area is 250, right? So bank account debit to 24,750. Call scenario account debit 250 rupees. To equity share second and final call account. ठीक है, इक्विटी शेयर फाइनल सेकंड एंड फाइनल कॉल कितना हो जाएगा? जस्ट अ मिनट. या equity share second and final call कितना हो जाएगा? 25,000. I'll just enlarge it little bit so that you can easily understand. There's little bit problem with the spacing here. Okay, no problem, you can just understand. So it will be equity share second final call account 25,000. Account debit, calls in account debit to equity share second final call account, right? Being what happened? Final call money received except that of 100 shares. ठीक है, समझ में आया? This is how you are going to solve a sum related to arrear, calls in arrear. We will have much more difficult sums of that type, okay, in the next video. Till then, take care of yourself, take care of your studies, and please note down all these things and do refer to your books. Okay, we'll meet in the next video. Till then, take care. Bye bye.